nuclear plant. Yeah, he did. He struck one of the underground ones. Hopefully, it actually did some damage. I mean, look, the reason why I say I hope it actually did some damage is because think about this: we bombed Mount Fordo, right? We was oh so sure about Mount Fordo, but yet we're back over there going like, actually, do we really destroy it? Actually, no, we don't. Give us the nuclear dust that we so-called obliterated when we bombed Mount Fordo. That was literally one of our demands. So I'm just looking at us like, all right, so did we do it or not? Because obliterated means it's gone, it's no longer there. But we're over here pressing the Iranians like it's right there and it can be reused.
President Trump has finally gone nuclear and struck Iran's nuclear power plants. Whoa. Here we go.
All right. I do got to give you your celebration. Now, Galactic was complaining, talking about you need a new one. So, all right, I got you. I'll give you this one. All right. All right. All right, though. Let's go ahead and get right back into it.
This was President Trump in the Situation Room last night. He canceled his entire schedule, and Donald Trump, furious that 2 U.S. troops were killed in a shock attack on a base in Jordan, very far away from the front lines. We thought American troops were safe there, but Iran has a special style of...
You thought American troops were safe there. I knew better. I think most people knew better. We all knew that Iran had the capability to shoot throughout the Middle East. Like, bro, none of our bases were safe at all. It's funny how he's acting so surprised. And it's kind of let you know how these right-wing pundits really don't know shit most of the time when it comes to geopolitical matters or their enemies' capabilities. I'm just going to be real with you. Like, one thing I noticed about all the MAGA pundits and the right-wing influencers is that they don't know anything about Iran's capabilities. And they believe all the propaganda about Iran. There's people that was really thinking that, oh, no, what are they fighting with, like, sticks and rocks? And I'm like, no, bro, drones and missiles. And they're hitting our bases as we speak. Like, are you for real? But hey,
missile,
just that ignorant.
Either something new or something that they got from the Chinese or the Russians. This ballistic missile increases speed, velocity, and has a darting path as it crashes towards the ground. And it was able to strike our base in Jordan and get through the missile defense systems. And it killed 2 American service members. So Donald Trump was furious last night. President Trump canceled planned remarks he was going to make last night, did not speak to the press, and he hasn't posted on social media for over 24 hours. You know that Donald Trump was upset, and the last time that Trump was upset, man, Iran started losing major infrastructure. You can see here the control tower and Shabar port, Iran's only deep water port, gone. CENTCOM saying that we are making the strikes at the commander-in-chief's personal direction. And what was Donald Trump's personal direction? Well, the Shabar port control tower has already been vaporized into dust.
And guys, I ain't gonna lie, this is what kind of like, look, I'm always gonna be happy with us, making sure we can show some type of force, even though I want to start out this war. But here's a problem with us just, unleashing on the coast of Iran. We've done all this firing. We probably hit like over 120 targets along the coast of Iran, and be real with you guys, they're still able to control the strait, still able to shut it down. So it kind of just shows that, yeah, it takes way too much effort to keep the strait open while it takes very little effort to keep it closed.
So Donald Trump says, I'm going to start striking your bridges, your train stations, your power plants. Gross. And that's precisely what happened.
Oh, no, that's exactly what he did. He pretty much cut off an entire province in Iran by striking all of their bridges out of there. And I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of a war crime, but I see how you're trying to justify it. So because the military rolls over it and, the military uses it too, and it got a dual use, now it's a military target. And I'm just like, well, bro, if that's the argument, then what bridge in the world isn't a military target? If that's the case.
Trump has been taking out last night some of Iran's largest oil refineries and a key port waterway. This is in a strategic city right next to the Iraq border.
Oh, guys, and let me explain to you why it's a war crime for people who don't understand. The reason why it's a war crime is because it affects the citizens more than, well, the IRGC. When we determine when a strike is a war crime is how it affects the civilians. Like, if it affects the military more than the civilians, okay, not a war crime. If it affects the civilians more than the military, it's a war crime. So when you take out water desalination plants, that's a war crime because you're mainly affecting the civilians. When you take out power plants, it's a war crime because you're mainly affecting who? Civilians. When you take out bridges that go out of cities that connect the provinces, who are you mainly affecting? Because it ain't the military. They got helicopters they can just fly over those gaps with. Your average citizen don't got a helicopter. They got a car that they needed to use to go over that bridge, and we blew it up. So who is blowing up the bridge affect? Mostly civilians, aka it is a war crime. There you go.
Sure. We'll get there in 1 second because the Iraq border is going to potentially be popping off here. But Trump also struck a nuclear power plant in Khuzestan, Iran. So this is the only nuclear reactor that is currently under construction in Iran. And now it has gone dark. This is where it is, right here. It is right near the Persian Gulf. It is right near Kuwait in Iraq, right here. And it is no more. The U.S. has directly struck the nuclear power plant site in the southwestern Iran, multiple projectiles a few hours ago. This is the first direct U.S. strike on an Iranian nuclear power plant, with Iran's only commercial nuclear power plant reactor, indigenously designed and built purely by Iran. This also triggers an Iranian IRGC and Yemen's warning yesterday.
Okay, then. So pretty much it's like, we pretty much knocked out some Iranian citizens by taking out this nuclear power plant. Not a nuclear facility used for nuclear testing or enrichment, but just a power plant. And that's got civilian use. Now, would we consider this a war crime? Like I said, depending on how the power is divvied up. Does it mainly go to IRGC bases or does it mainly go to the civilians? Most likely civilians. But let me read the last part of this. This also triggered Iran's IRGC and Yemen's warning from yesterday and earlier this week that any further U.S. strikes on Iranian civilians and power infrastructure would trigger Iran's comprehensive regional infrastructure destruction and Houthis' Bab el-Mandi closure. Oh, okay. So they're pretty much getting serious. They're like, if you keep on going with this, we'll just destroy the regional infrastructure, aka power plants, water desalination centers, or refineries will all be destroyed. Oh shit. And they're talking about in the UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain. All of our Gulf allies are pretty much going to get put on the chopping block. Guys, you got to remember, we're fighting this war on their backs. Like, hey, it ain't our infrastructure that's getting attacked. Sure, our bases, but not our infrastructure. Like, they might wake up one day with no power and water, not us. Okay.
That if President Trump started to strike civilian infrastructure and power infrastructure, it would trigger Iran's comprehensive regional infrastructure destruction. So are things going to heat up? I'm not sure. You can see here, everybody saying, this is effectively a red line. U.S. strikes nuclear power plant. Now the Atomic Energy Association is investigating. U.S. strikes. The IAEA said it's examining the data of the reported strike. The facility is a very early stage of construction, contained no nuclear material. I guess that's good.
I mean, I know it's like, no nuclear material. So damn, it's almost like we bombed it for no reason. Oops.
But you can see the region. Here's the only footage that we have of the nuclear power plant construction site that is ablaze right here. Whew. Okay, here we go. We're looking at a report that a nuclear power plant was struck while a reported attack not believed to pose any radiological risk. We reiterate for military restraint in the vicinity of all nuclear-related activities. Yeah, please, I guess. You can see here, there was no restraint when 2 American soldiers were killed. This is the footage. Oh, it's tough to watch. A brand new style of missile. Obviously, it hit some type of major gas line that went between the containerized housing units here and just blew them all up. You can see them all.
Yeah, that's why about 400 was injured. I mean, man, and like I said, guys, it's just the sad reality of it is that, yeah, our bases are within reach and they are not safe. Guys, you know, at the beginning of this war, a good amount of our bases were rendered inhabitable, unoperable. Like, you know that, right? Iran has already been shown that they've been able to strike our bases since day one of this conflict.
You see the strike and then the combustion, you know, the unanimous combustion of all of the containerized housing units, which sucks. This is what we put our troops in. They're just trailers. But you can see here, there's tons of piping and tons of connectivity between them. Gas lines, air conditioning lines. And man, it sucks.
Hey, shout out AJ for sending to Spain for 98 joules. That is low-key dope. I'm not even gonna lie, that's pretty damn dope. Shout out to Spain for winning and beating Argentina. I already played a video last night expressing my grievance with Argentina, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I have a lot of grievances with Argentina, but let's just start off on their history. Like, their history isn't too favorable to people of my skin tone.
People saying Russia or China may be feeding Iran. The targeting data, and you can see here, the secondary explosion is massive. Maybe it struck a gas line.
Neither is Spain. But at least Spain recognizes the genocide, though. At least Spain recognizes the genocide, and they were recognizing Palestine as a state. Argentina, I mean, bro, they're probably like the biggest Israel supporters in South America. Let's just keep it real. Be honest with you. I ain't gonna lie. I have my biases. I'm not gonna lie. I have my biases on who I wanted to win the World Cup. And it turned out well.
I'm assuming, right, keep all the AC running. See here that it struck directly at in the containerized housing units, which would be the barracks. And yeah, I mean, a lot of reports on Iran adapting to U.S. missile defenses, firing missiles that travel at extremely high speeds that can maneuver as they streak toward.
And this is the crazy part. It's like, why is everybody talking like this is new? Like, Iran has adapted to U.S. defenses. Bro, I'm sorry, but the Iron Dome was probably the craziest missile defense system, the most coldest missile defense system in the Middle East, and it's in Israel. And Iran got through that multiple times. Like, I'm sorry, but shouldn't that have told us right there and then that, yeah, Iran is able to get through our missile defense systems pretty easily? Why? Because they was able to do it to Israel. And Israel missile defense system is better than the one we got in Bahrain, UAE, Qatar, all better than all those. And they're getting through them? Like, do you see the problem here? But all right. Yeah, Iran has adapted to U.S. defenses, firing missiles that travel extremely high speeds and can maneuver as they streak towards the Earth, according to U.S. officials familiar with the attacks. I mean, yeah, it's called a hypersonic missile.
Towards the Earth. U.S. officials familiar with the attack, Iran's ability to hit sensitive targets, raise concerns it might be getting help from China or Russia, and it is certainly emboldening Iran. Now, the way that you shoot down missiles, projectiles, drones, one of these bad boys. You ever heard of a C-RAM? And this is a land phalanx weapon system, counter-rocket artillery, and a mortar air defense system. You don't get to see them in combat very often, but boy howdy, when they blast off, this is one of the most impressive guns in the world. They fire 4,000 rounds a minute. And these rounds, when they pop off, it is spicy. That's what they sound like.
Damn.
These sort of tracer rounds, right? See here.
Got the technology. Here's the thing, though. It's like, and this is the thing about these hypersonic missiles, dog, is that they literally just maneuver around all this fire and just find their target and strike. Like, literally just hover around and then strike. And that's the problem with hypersonic missiles. The way it just goes off and then comes down at high speeds, then it departs from, well, I guess the warhead departs, and now it has its own little like device, or I guess its own little propulsion or rocket system that allows it just maneuver. Like, I'm trying to remember what they was calling it at the end of it that made the rocket like adjust in all directions. I forgot the word for it, but that's pretty much what hypersonic missile is. So what makes a hypersonic missile isn't the speed, It's the fact that it has maneuverability. Like that's what makes it a hypersonic missile, period, point blank. It's just the maneuverability. So a missile that's able to maneuver and dodge pretty much air fire, that it's a hypersonic missile.
Crazy, dude. Well, anyway, does that sound familiar? This was the sky over Iraq last night. That's the C-RAM popping off, land phalanx. C-RAM. That crazy. These are the drone strikes. Drone strikes from Iran. Ballistic missiles getting intercepted. Crazy sounding. Anyway, that's Erbil, Iraq. You see, that's right up here. It's not far from the Iranian border. Iran seems to be pounding. There's American bases there. There's an American embassy there. Iran seems to be directly targeting the American bases that are so close to its border. There's one there. There's one in Kuwait, and Iran's going hard after Kuwait right now. Saying
Iran is effing Kuwait up. I mean, they're taking out energy infrastructure. They took out a water desalination plant. I'm just like, okay, yeah. They're going off on Kuwait. They're pretty much using Kuwait as an example of what could happen to the rest of the Middle East. And I'm kind of looking at it like, damn, bro, what Kuwait do? Why they got to be the example? I mean, shoot, like the UAE works closer with Israel than anybody else. What's wrong? What Kuwait do? But it is what it is. And if you guys don't remember, like I showed this like probably a couple nights, 2 nights in a row, apparently. So I'm going to go ahead and show this again. The reason why I'm showing this again is because Iran pretty much released this warning on, well, what they're willing to do. Hey.
This is the state of the Earth after 8 p.m. on April 7.
See, and it's just kind of like, well, damn. Like, so y'all just wanted to shut off the power of all of these countries. And here's the thing, guys. Like, if they destroyed the power and the water desalination centers, you guys understand these countries are going to go under. And these countries hold up our petrodollar. They produce a whole lot of oil that goes through the strait that the rest of the world needs. And here's the thing, guys. Like, remember, getting this out is vital. And we're having problems doing that. Can you imagine if we just can't even produce it because these guys are just left in darkness, or oil infrastructure destroyed, energy infrastructure destroyed? These people can't get no clean water because the water desalination centers aren't going no more. It's like, bruh, that's going to send, I mean, one, it's going to completely destroy the Middle East. There's going to be breakouts in civil wars over resources, and that's going to look terrible, while the global economy completely collapse around them. Like, yeah, I know why these guys are going through civil war over water and resources. Our entire global economy will be collapsing. That's just the sad reality of
it. They are seriously considering.
Oh, and shout out Steph, sis. Hey, I'm happy to see you. Glad to see you. Let me go ahead and give you your celebration real quick. She sent what was I think it's like a treasure chest for 1,000 jewels. Appreciate the support. No, wait, take the captain. My bad. That was Thor. But anyway, though, now somebody actually asked a pretty good question in the chat. Like, why is Iran making so many enemies? And here's the thing. These countries have never been their friends. That's just the sad reality of it. I mean, these countries do a lot of things that Iran just don't agree with. I mean, not just, I mean, it goes way beyond, religious differences when it comes to Muslims or Islam and all that good stuff. It goes down to how these guys operate, what they be doing in Sudan, what they be doing, or what they be allowing Israel to do in Palestine. So trust me, these countries were never really friends, especially the UAE and Saudi Arabia. They hate Qatar. I mean, not Qatar, but they hate Iran. Qatar is cool with Iran. Kuwait, Bahrain, they don't like Iran. But I'm gonna be real with you guys. Most of those countries hate Iran, and they was pushing for Iran's destruction. So Iran don't feel no way about them already. And think about it. They house American bases. They were never seen as allies, sadly. Never. So people who honestly wonder, like, oh, why is Iran making all these enemies? Well, Iran already had these enemies. That's just the reality of the Middle East.
considering potentially seizing Kuwait. You can see Kuwait has been hit really hard. Kuwait's Ministry of Electricity and Water has confirmed that Iran attack struck major power generation and desalination. This will affect a ton of the country because the country needs to desalinate its water. You can see here power structures burning in Kuwait. Everyone's scrambling right now. Kuwait is, of course, locked, does not have any fresh water. And so Kuwait gets 100% of its water from desalination.
Yeah, that's let's be real. The entire Middle East is basically one big ass desert. So the only way these guys are getting fresh water, drinkable water, is through these water desalination centers. And if you cut that off, they're cooked. I mean, guys, thank God bless America. You live in a country where you can go to the springs. You have different options of water. We have huge bodies of water that are fresh water. Okay, we have springs here. Like, it's a lovely thing. Trust me, they don't got that in the Middle East. All they got is the water desalination centers. If you take that out, the whole country's just pretty much cooked, and it's gonna take months for them to fix it while the country just going without no water. Bro, who's gonna visit Dubai with no effing water, bro? Who doing that? I know I'm not doing it. So I couldn't afford to do it in the first place. But if I could, I know I ain't doing it. Like, you know how hot it gets out there in the Middle East, guys? Bro, it's like a consistent 120 to 140 degrees out there. You need water. Like, bro. And they don't got it right now. All they got is salt water at this point. And the water desalination center that don't work.
Meaning taking salt water and making it potable. And so Iran has been blowing up its power grid.
And I meant by we, I mean us Americans over here who enjoy the blessings of having, fresh bodies of waters and all that good stuff, fresh body of water and all that good stuff, and spring water. I mean, what can I say, man? The other problems in the Middle East, us Americans just don't deal with. That's why I say God bless America.
You can see there the massive blue spark, indicative of a massive electrical fire there.
Oh no, somebody also made a really good point too. He's like, where do you think the millions of thirsty refugees are gonna go? And that leads into my other point on why this war is a bad idea, because they're gonna come here. They're gonna come here, they're gonna come to Europe, then they're gonna start selling you propaganda about a Muslim invasion when they're the ones bringing in the Muslims. It's actually kind of funny. He's like, yeah, we're destroy your country, bring you guys into our country, then we're gonna talk about how you're taking over our country. Like, okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about how 5 million Muslims are gonna take out over 100 million Christians. Okay, all right. Never happened in history, by the way. Never happened in history where a 5 million man force took out a 100 million man nation.
Wow. And Kuwait just being hit hard because Iran is planning on potentially invading Kuwait. Iran is seriously considering ground incursion in Kuwait to seize U.S. military bases, including Camp Erling and Camp Arfan, if Washington continues its military campaign against Tehran, according to prominent Iranian journalists. Kuwait is considered one of Iran's principal options for a potential ground incursion, seizing 2 U.S. military bases within the country. Former Iranian minister previously said Iran could launch a ground operation to capture U.S. troops and take them as prisoners if necessary. Full-scale offensive or a counter-U.S. strike. So people are saying, please do that. Kuwait, huh? The A-10 becomes giddy in anticipation. I am seriously considering joining just to become the #1 center for the flyers. No, if they were to try this, Iran would experience their own version of the highway of death from back in Iraq during the Gulf War. The entire route, they'd have to stake through southern Iraq, desert with minimal cover. Remember, they have no way now. So crossing the Persian Gulf is off the table. In short, this is the type of move that would only accomplish wholesale slaughter of the troops. That.
I mean, no, that is true. Let's just keep it real. If we actually did, look, a ground invasion is not going to be good. Us trying to take Karg Island, not going to end well. It's like any type of boots on the ground in Iran is just not going to end well for us. And for some reason, we have, your favorite not Fox News pundit pushing for that. Or, if you want to look at Laura Loomer or like Mark Levin or something, yeah, they'll push it as well.
Where they have no way now. So crossing the Persian Gulf is off the table. In short, this is the type of move that would only accomplish wholesale slaughter of the troops. With that highway of death. Oh boy, we've opened up a whole can of worms.
You know what? Actually crazy though. And I'm just going to say it again. There is no Islamic takeover, guys. You guys are over exaggerating it. And I mean, I'm sorry, but Islamic takeover, how? Because you can't say it's by force. I mean, you guys are letting them in there. They're abiding by the laws of your country. So where is the takeover at? And I mean, well said, you got to understand, they're setting up their own cities. Yeah, so does the Jews, so does the Indians, so does Mexicans. They all do that here. Everybody, Joe, look what China did to New York and Canal Street. So yeah, every country, religion somehow comes out here and, you know, sets up their own little spot in America. You guys trip out when Muslims do it. That's a bit inconsistent, my friend. That's a bit inconsistent. But nah, guys, don't let people fearmonger you into thinking that Muslims are taking over your country when they're not. Like, trust me, we only got 5 million Muslims here, and people are talking about a Muslim takeover of America. I kind of look at them like they're retarded in a little bit. Like, come on, bro, are you slow? Really? What's the biggest religion here in America? Christianity. Now, unless Islam just goes on a mass conversion spree where everybody just converting to Islam because there's no forced conversion here in America, then I don't really know what to tell you. If it happens like that, then I guess you guys just lost the debate, and y'all got to just take the L on that one. But hey, if it ain't done by forced conversion, then I mean, people got free will, and you can't be mad or sitting there crying, talking about a Muslim invasion because people aren't choosing the religion that you follow. Like, let's just keep it real here.
Here, everyone's laughing. This type of post is going to do numbers in third world Twitter, man. Absolute fantasy world.
With y'all messaging,
pretty much the only play they have left. This is wild. Okay. I want to kill myself or annihilate Iran now. Yeah, I don't know, man. Things are popping off. We pray for the troops that are lost. We want, obviously, there to be peace. We're encouraged by Iran's foreign minister here saying that negotiations should continue, even if there's a small chance of success. I'm the foreign minister for the interests of the Islamic Republic, not my own reputation. If people in this country are shedding their blood, I must instead shed my reputation, he says. This marks disagreements potentially over Tehran's approach.
Actually, you know, so crazy, guys. You know, so crazy. People talk about, well, first off, let me get back to this. But people do talk about Dearborn, Michigan, and yeah, that's also over exaggerated as well. People are actually cool with the Muslim population over there. It's actually kind of crazy. There's only a couple radical, and here's the thing: the only people who like aren't cool with Dearborn are just the people who just hate Muslims. Like, you really have no reason to be mad at Dearborn at all, because, bro, what happens in Dearborn happened with other ethnic groups, happened with other religions throughout America. That's why, personally, I don't have a problem with it, because it happens all throughout America. Everybody got their own little cutoff of America, and they do their thing. The problem is that people hate, and they want to go ahead and pick on a certain religion, and they want to act like that religion's a great evil. And here's the crazy thing, though. Like, it's so old school, because, like, bro, we're in 2026. How long have people been convincing you to hate another people because of who they worship, or because they believe differently to you, that you should hate them? Like, they've been selling that bullshit for like what, hundreds of thousands of years, bro. Damn near since the beginning of humanity, we've been selling that bullshit, and y'all still fall for it. Like, bro, it almost makes me wonder, what did Jesus even come here for? Like, what did the man even come here for if y'all still doing this?
Well, it'd be nice to see de-escalation. I think everybody would like that. I don't want there to be a war here. I want there to be peace. I want Americans out of harm's way. And I want for there to be lasting security in the world. I don't know, you know, sometimes to get peace, you must make war. Sometimes the only language people understand is war. So we'll see how it plays out here. But pray for peace. Pray for peace. I don't want.
All right, though, let's go into the next video. I'm weak, bro. Talk about Sharia law like you know who Sharia law is. Like, guys, you can look this up. You know, Sharia law pretty much says that you must follow the laws of the nation/country that you're in. So that completely, like I'm saying, is like, bro, people just speak out of ignorance and hatred of Islam when they talk like this. It's like Sharia law literally tells you follow the what? Follow the rules and the laws of the nation that you're in. That's literally Sharia law right there. But for some reason, people don't understand that because they speak out of ignorance. But it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. God bless you.
Meanwhile, the U.S. is promising swift retaliation on Iran after 2 servicemen were killed and a 3rd is still missing this morning after Iran launched strikes on an airbase in Jordan, further intensifying a weeks-long exchange of fire. Central Command confirming fresh strikes on Iran Saturday night to further destabilize Iran's ability to strike ships in the Strait and attack U.S. bases. Joining me now with analysis is former Trump National Security Advisor Victoria Coates. Victoria, thanks very much for weighing in this morning. Your assessment of these latest.
Now, before I go ahead and I grill this lady right here for being ignorant as hell, I do want to go ahead and watch this. I'm gonna catch all the Muslim haters and watch them, and watch them scramble. Yes, Islamic Sharia generally requires Muslims to follow the law of the land where they reside in. This obligation is subject to one condition. The local law must not force Muslims to commit a major sin or violate a core tenet of their faith, which, I mean, nowhere in our law violates any religion or core tenets of any faith because we believe in freedom of religion. So, yes, it says there in Sharia law that they must follow the law of the land they reside. Now, watch all these Muslim haters start scrambling, trying to pretty much make it make sense on, oh no, actually it says that a lot they need to take over, they need to change laws. No, actually it says they need to abide by the laws of the land that they reside in. So what are you talking about? No, somebody please press this on them in the chat. Watch them scramble to make up some shit. But all right, to the next video. Let's stop with this. I don't know. The only reason why I defended Islam, and trust me, I'm not a Muslim, but the only reason why I defend it is because